All right, Pickle, let's go to the hotline. And let's bring in an East Texas expert from the day she was born. Miss Ashley Moore, sports anchor at KYTX CBS 19. Ashley, how you doing?
I'm good. I like that. Football, sports expert since the day I was born. I get that. I was born in Longview, Texas, for those who didn't know. So, yeah, it's a place to be born in football, too. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Such great football out there. But before we get to all that nitty-gritty football talk, we like to hear a little bit more, learn a little bit more about our guests that we bring on here for Women Talking Football. So give us your elevator pitch. Who are you, and how did you get to the point that you are now?
Well, I am Ashley Moore, sports anchor at CBS 19. Right now, our big thing is football. Football. I was brought up into a town of football, but my favorite sport is actually basketball. I grew up playing basketball. I still, to this day, can break the ankles of most
I love it, ma'am.
Okay. But, being around sports, playing in sports my whole life, I wasn't ready to give it up after high school. I'm 5'2". I'm not going to be on anybody's professional team. I tore my ACL in high school. So I went to college to be a chemical engineer. And then I just missed sports so much. I was just like, you know what? Let me give up all this money and go into journalism. So
yeah,
I gave up all the money, and now I'm in East Texas.
Yeah, you're certainly not in this industry for the money. So, girl, you must have a real passion for it. Super excited that you're like Ashley Pickle and I over here. But how cool. So you said you're from Longview, and you actually went to Longview High School. How cool is it that you are out there in East Texas and you actually get to cover Longview on a daily basis?
It is great because I know everybody here. I was born and raised here, grew up in the churches here, went to Longview. I was, one of the star basketball players when I was here. So I know everybody. So it's cool because, when I'm on campus, people always go, what store are you working on? What store are you working on? And everybody's so willing to help. I mean, that's just the East Texas thing, though. Mm-hmm. Everybody's always nice. But when you do big football stories like, with the Longview Lobos, Coach King, he's telling people before I meet him that I went to Longview. You know what I mean? So the sense of community and, being able to do this in my hometown and tell great football stories, because there's some great stories out here in East Texas. And I've told a few of them. And it's just so easy to do it when you grew up in the traditions and the history.
Absolutely. Is Coach King over there giving you a couple of inside scoops there? I would hope.
None that I can share, but I haven't already shared.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. Well, you just kind of mentioned it. You said that you get to cover a lot of great storylines out there in East Texas, in Longview as well. So what are a couple of those big storylines out there that you think people across the state of Texas should really know about the East Texas region?
Ooh, about the region as a whole. I mean,
or it could be about Longview as well.
I mean, that too, But no, people should really take a look at the economic impact, in sports solely from East Texas. We have Patrick Mahomes,
Mm-hmm.
the $500 million contract. He's from White House. Trent Williams, the highest paid left tackle in the history, the highest paid offensive lineman in the history of the NFL. He's from Longview. The things in which Adrian Peterson, Earl Campbell, Longview having the most NFL players come out of a high school in the state of Texas. Just the economic impact. And now that NIL is going to college,
mm-hmm.
That's a whole different level. But the economic impact the East Texas region has in the NFL, because, it's a lot of stories out there. It's a lot of guys, who will make it to the NFL, maybe last couple weeks and then go and play in the Canadian Football League. We have Pete Robinson right now in the Canadian Football League from Longview. But the pipeline, it's like, you have Friday Night Lights out in West Texas. Something like that needs to be done in East Texas, because these guys, these high school programs are like college programs, and it is just something to behold.
Man, they don't call it Beast Texas for nothing.
Right.
A couple of those Beast Texas teams that we think obviously have a really good shot to be making it down to AT&T Stadium, or over, I guess, to AT&T Stadium come December. Specifically Longview and Gilmer. What is the vibe around those two towns specifically this year, with with the cusp of another state championship right in the forefront of their minds.
Well, Longview, everybody feels it in Longview for sure. I mean, they have the #1 ranking in the state. The toughest test was against Lancaster, and Longview got that dub. Jalen Hale, Taylor Tatum, Longview right now is feeling like this is going to be, another 2018 year. Undefeated right now. The team is clicking on edge. 69-0. Who puts up a score of 69-0?
Right.
The team is clicking. And the hype is real. Coach King knew the hype. He knew the hype before the season started. The players knew the hype before the season started, and they are continuing the excellence. And the city knows it. Wherever you go, people are going to talk Longview football. That's just how it is. Same thing over there in Gilmer. But Gilmer has such a standard of excellence. That everybody just, it's known. Coach Metzel's team, Coach Alan Metzel, he inherited the team. We all know the big Jeff Traylor. The legacy Jeff Traylor left is still there. The discipline. If you go to Gilmer, you see the football players, they are one of the most disciplined teams out there. And I think that's the difference because they have a brand new quarterback. It was Brandon Tennyson last year. His brother, Caden Tennyson, is now the quarterback, and they're still undefeated. Still knocking off ranked teams in our East Texas rankings. It's a standard in Gilmer. Longview, everybody's super hyped, blah, blah, blah. Gilmer, it's a standard. They were there last year, lost last year. It's a standard to be back. And, but when you're two powerhouse programs like that, hey, it's honestly a standard. Longview made it 22 consecutive years, but, it's, East Texas football.
Absolutely. And like you just mentioned, everybody knows the names Longview and Gilmer and Tyler Chapel Hill and everything out there. Are there any teams that you think maybe aren't currently ranked or aren't making much noise right now that could make a pretty decent run in the playoffs in a couple weeks?
So there's I'm monitoring Friday. Okay, I'm monitoring this upcoming Friday. So there's a big matchup. There's a school that is ranked, Texas High. They're playing White House. Now, White House, clearly 5A Division II school. Last year, they have a new coach. This is the second year, Coach Kyle Westerberg. Last year, they won 2 games all season. This year, they are 7-1. Their one game came on a fluke loss to Nacogdoches, which is the team that almost beat Texas High last week. And the Nacogdoches only has 1 win on the season, which is the crazy part. In the 2 biggest games they've had, they either won or almost won. But White House is 7-1 right now. Only 1 loss in the district. Their quarterback, Josh Green, this guy here, he can throw it and he can run it. This last week, he had 3 touchdowns in the air, 2 on the ground. White House is a team to watch this year, I think, on the 5A level. Just, discipline, knocking it on all cylinders. Their defense can step up in big games. They're a team to watch, I believe, in 5A. Now, I'm going to go all the way down to 2A for this one. But the Beckville Bearcats, currently unranked, but their only loss this season is to Timpson. And we all know about Timpson, okay, and Terry Bussey. But their only loss this season is to Timpson. They had a 1-point win against Joaquin. I believe Timpson and Joaquin just played each other, and Timpson really won. But, since then, 7 straight wins, undefeated in district. They have this kid, Jacoby Williams. He's a running back. This man had 3 touchdowns in the first half, first quarter, with 12 carries, ended up having 5 touchdowns. That's another team to watch. Beckville Bearcats, clearly district favorites. I think they're going to take it pretty far in playoffs as well.
Yeah, a couple of our members down here at DCTF went over to the Beckville-Timpson game. Ashley Pickle, you were there.
I was.
At that game. So, yeah, definitely no doubt about that. They are the real deal. But let's go ahead and transition over to players. Now, you have already mentioned some of the big-time players that have come out of just Longview. You've got Willie Andrews and, of course, Patrick Mahomes out of White House. Are there any names now? You've already mentioned Jalen Hale, but are there any names that people across the state of Texas should be keeping their eye on?
Oh, absolutely. There's so many names in East Texas. Just with running backs, you have Kevin Pierce out of Troop. I think he's committed to Lamar right now, but this kid just finds open field. watched them run an 85-yarder, straight up the middle. You have Isaiah Ross out of Kilgore. I'm sure y'all know who that is. I'm sure he was a finalist for one of the Player of the Weeks. But Ricky Stewart out of Chapel Hill, Colin Lewis out of Gladewater. This kid is a two-way athlete, good on the football field and the basketball court. But I went to their game. They did this big tribute to one of their old segregated schools before it became desegregated. And he saw the camera rolling. Within the first 10 seconds, he had a 45-yard touchdown. And
Wow.
then in that same quarter, he lined up in Wildcat, took the ball and ran it 80 yards to the house for a touchdown. This is all in the first quarter.
Jeez.
I'm just like, wow. Yeah, Colin Lewis out of Gladewater. I mentioned Jacoby Williams, the running back. I'm at a White House, Jermon McCoy, who's with Josh Green. We got one of the McCown kids out here doing this thing, Aiden McCown, Josh McCown's son. This kid has the wheels on him. He's the quarterback, but you let him, get that one step on you, it's over. But yeah, so many talented players. You got Willie Nelson out of Longview in the secondary. This man, you throw it in his direction, he will snag the ball and intercept the running back. But yeah, so many talented players in East Texas. I just couldn't even stop at one. I couldn't stop at 10.
Oh, I know. We have a Players to Watch segment too each week, talking about each region, and it was hard to pick just 6. We narrow it down to 6 for time purposes, and sometimes I gotta sneak another one in there just because it's so hard to choose. But yes, to that point, so many talented players in East Texas out there. But before we let you go, I'm always interested. Now, we love to ask this question because Ashley Pickle and I are big foodies here on the show. Now, if we're ever in the Longview area or maybe around it, where should we stop before going to a game to eat lunch?
Oh, so many good spots. I don't know what kind of food y'all like, so I'll give y'all
anything.
A couple recommendations.
We like anything.
Well, burgers. If you like burgers, like juicy, like diner type burgers, there's this place called the Butcher Shop. So the Butcher Shop has the burgers. They got chicken too, but they also have a bakery inside the Butcher Shop. So if you want to get you some dessert on the way out, some cupcakes, or so a slice of pie, something like that, Butcher Shop. Fisherman's Market, catfish. I don't know if y'all like catfish, but that is
ma'am.
my
Love
thing.
me some catfish.
Catfish. Stop at Fisherman's Market in Longview. If you like some quick to get Chinese food, some of the best Chinese food is at the China Max in the Longview Mall. Bourbon chicken. Their bourbon chicken is the best in the city. Okay, in the mall. Okay, yeah.
That's an unexpected one.
Stores.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. And then, after the game, if y'all stay overnight, y'all want a margarita, best margaritas in town are at this spot called El Sombrero.
I'm writing that down right now.
Okay, I was just going to say, there's the real information.
Let me get a pin real quick.
But yeah, that was just a couple, give you a nice little variety just in case, you don't know what you're feeling.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for all those food recommendations. And Ashley, thank you, of course, for joining us here on Women Talking Football. We're almost done with the regular season, so definitely good luck out there and stay safe.
Oh, yeah. Make sure y'all tune into the Under the Lights kickoff show on CBS 19, the only live pregame show in the market. Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Let's
and then
go.
we, of course, have a postgame show, too. So thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.